Hey on the construction family, welcome back to the channel for another video. Today we are installing fixtures including the switches, the plugs, lights, as well as commencing the process of pulling in the wires. We will also go into the breakdown of the cost for each point, that is each plug, each switch, each breaker, all the details. So stick around for this and more. Our electrician is captured here installing the first spotlight in the Bay Area, and this is the first of 14 lights in this room. Yes, don't ask me why we put 14 lights in the room, but that was our request, and of course he worked with us. He worked with us every single step of the way. These are the lights that we used here. If you have not watched the first video in our 3-part series of all the electrical work, go ahead and watch that video. I'll link it in the description below so you can see the cost of every item we used in the electrical process, including the lights, the wires, the plugs, the switches, every single one of them. Our electrician Adrian, he has a keen eye for details. You'll notice throughout the process that he's marking the walls, the ceilings before he does anything. He measures everything so that there is consistency all across the ceiling. You'll see him using a variety of tools throughout the process, and you may see him using substitute tools. For example, in the place of his hole saw, he used an hacksaw blade because at the time he was not in possession of the hole saw. But fret not thyself, he has all the tools relevant and necessary to the electrical process. Just at that time, stuff happens. For him to know where to cut the holes in the walls, all 13 of them, the center light is the 14th, he had to remember exactly where he placed the wires. You see him pulling through the wires right now? He has to remember the precise measurements, and you can see throughout that he's using various tools to continue with that measurement. How does he know the measurement? Right after the roof was installed, he came back in and he made sure that all the pipes and the wires were installed accordingly, and he had to recall during this process that you're seeing right now where he placed each point. And by point I mean each plug, each light switch, each light, each breaker, the pot head, the meter box, the panel box, all of these are individual points. And this electrician, he charges $4,000 per point. So remember earlier I mentioned that we have 14 lights in this room. We also have 5 switches and 6 plugs. Multiply 5 switches by 4,000. 6 plugs by 4,000 and 14 lights by 4,000. Tell me how much you get. Post that below in the comments before you hear the final total. Let me help you out a bit. For the 5 switches, which equals to 5 points, that amounted to 20,000 Jamaican dollars. For the 6 plugs, which equals 6 points, that amounts to 24,000 Jamaican dollars. For the 14 lights, including the 13 pot lights and the center light, 14 points, that amounts to 56,000 Jamaican dollars. In total, this single primary bedroom ran a total of 100,000 Jamaican dollars. I know some people wondering why you need 14 lights in a one room, my girl. We never need it, but because of the tray ceiling, I thought it would look pretty cool with a bunch of lights up there. Mark you, they are not all on at the same time. That is why we have 5 switches which controls the lights per section. Moving on to the secondary bedroom, you'll notice that the electrician is installing a receptacle. The regular lights that we have in our ceilings, we're working with that in that bedroom for now. The light that is installed in it though is not the usual light, and we'll show you that in the final video in this electrical series. Along with that center light, we also installed 4 pot lights and 3 plugs. You're seeing the electrician's assistant Trevon going ahead with installing a plug right here, and that is another point. The electricians here in Jamaica, I noticed they use this point system where each light, each switch, each panel, each breaker, each plug, it's a whole point. So he's installing the third point in this room. That's the third plug point, but there are 5 other lights, which are 5 other points in the room, and 2 switches. So how much did this cost? The 2 switches would be 2 times 4,000, which is 8,000 Jamaican dollars. The 5 lights, 5 times 4, 20,000 Jamaican dollars, and 3 plugs, 3 times 4, 12,000 Jamaican dollars. So the final total for this room is 40,000 Jamaican dollars. But we have a special reveal coming up towards the end of this video about how much money we actually paid our electrician for his electrical services. Stick around. You don't want to miss it. Naturally, because of the size of the primary bedroom, that took a lot longer to complete than the other rooms. But let me take you through the cost breakdown in relation to the primary bathroom and the walk-in closet. While that section of the house has to carry out dual functions, the electrical installation process must still be on point. Remember, at the end of all of this, an inspector is coming in to inspect the work. So everything that is on the plan must be installed accordingly. So in that primary bathroom and walk-in closet, there are 3 switches. One controls the ceiling light in the closet, another controls the ceiling light in the bathroom, and the third switch controls the wall light in the bathroom. So that is a total of 3 points for the switches and 3 points for the lights. There is an additional 2 plugs. The GFCI breakers were installed in the bathroom and in the walk-in closet. That is 2 additional points. Just to remind you, the GFCIs are installed to protect areas in the home such as the kitchen, bathroom, laundry rooms, or those areas will have dual purposes like ours do, where electrical appliances or products may come into contact with water. So this protects against severe electrical shock or electrocution from ground faults. Yeah, them cost a little bit more, well, a lot more, but they are also very necessary and we have no regrets. At this time, you are seeing the finished product as far as the primary bedroom is concerned, as it relates to the pulling through of the wires through the holes for the installation of these spotlights. I'm never done telling about the primary bathroom yet. Let's get back to that. There are a total of 8 points in the primary bathroom, so that is 8 times $4,000, which brings it to a grand total of 32,000 Jamaican dollars to install all the light switches and plugs in the primary bathroom. This is our electrician taking you through the process of installing a pot light. Just in case you don't know how to, don't try and do it yourself. Call the electrician. His number was shared before and it will be shared again in the description below. I'll actually share his number here. It's 876-483-6078. When you link him, let him know that Under Construction sent you his way. If you have gotten this far in the video, we thank you so much for sticking around. No, we are not yet at the end of the video, but just in case you have made it this far, please type down below in the comments recessed lights so we can know so you stick around for all of this time. You see how the man them work neat? Look there. Neat, nothing out of place. The man take pride in them work, and that is how we should all be as professionals right across the board. Look at the plug, look at the outlet covers. Things like these let me know that we are almost at the end of this part of the journey, and never have I met a journey that I wanted to complete so bad until I started the construction journey. But let's get right back into the final cost breakdown for the secondary bathroom. Now in this bathroom there are 2 lights and therefore 2 switches, one in the ceiling and one on the wall. There's also 1 GFCI plug or breaker in that bathroom. So that is a total of 3 points. The plug, point 1, the 2 lights, points 2 and 3. At $4,000 per point, that is 4,000 times 3, amounting to 12,000 Jamaican dollars. Of all the rooms spoken of so far, this is the most cost-effective room. So what this indicates is the less plugs you have in a room, the less lights, the less switches, and later on you'll find out that the less breakers is the cheaper your electrician bill is going to be, because for every point you have to pay for it. And I believe this electrician's point cost is quite reasonable in all the circumstances. If there's any heftiness in anything, is we who ask for the whole heap of light them in our house. So before you go ahead and tell your electrician that you want 10 lights, 10 plugs and 10 switches and 15 breakers in the panel box, please consider the cost per point. Let me see if I can break down this whole point system. The point begins as soon as the electrician comes here and starts marking out the location for all the electrical components. This ensures that everything is level, consistent, and it meets safety regulations. So you mark out the openings, then you start cutting out these openings, and then you start installing the boxes in the designated locations. Next, you have the conduit installations. This is the pipes. You're going to run the pipes in the walls and connect the electrical boxes to the panel boxes. Then you have to cover these conduits. The boxes, you usually stuff a little bit of cement bags in there so that they are not flashed in, but the pipes, you have to cover those with cement for protection. After you have done that for the walls, you have to dig the trenches. The trenches are dug in the ground to accommodate the electrical pipes that will connect the house to the outside electrical points. So after you have dug these trenches now, you have to cover them with dirt or sand, and then of course the floor is going to be cast. That's not the electrician's job, that's the mason's job. But after this is done, still on the same point, you have to start pulling the individual wires. These are carefully pulled through the conduits and connects the electrical boxes, switches, plugs, lights, and the panel box. Still on the same point, the electrician has to come back now, install the switches, install the plugs, cover them, install the lights, and then do what you see them doing right here now. That's still a single point, right? So a point, $4,000 to do all of that work. This is our electrician in the ceiling now. He's ensuring that everything that was done before it was sealed off is all properly connected, and he worked this day. I can recall he worked from as early as we were available until as late as we could stay, all the way into the next morning. This is dedication to your craft. It's important to note that the order of installing electrical boxes for lights might differ according to your project. In this video, the lights were installed after the roof was completed because it involved pot lights. If you are doing a decking now, the boxes would have already been installed. So certain things that you're seeing now would be a little bit different. So take note of that when you are observing your electrician at work. We literally had zero complaints about this electrician. Why? Look at this. This is neatness personified. And this was a level of work throughout the entire project. So of course, when we're completing the other section of the house, you know, over electrician book already. So let's get back to the final points that this electrician installed on the inside of this building. These are the 9 breakers in the panel box. Now, each breaker installed was a single point. Of course, the different lights and the plugs were connected to different breakers. I will not attempt to break that down. I am not an electrician. I don't want to mislead you. So let me stick to what I know, which was the cost per point, $4,000 for each of the 9 breakers installed. So that is $36,000 in total for the panel box. That brings us to a total of 220,000 Jamaican dollars for the cost of the electrical work done in this house. How much of that $220,000 did we pay? I forget a drum roll for that one here. Listen, that one deserves drum roll, thunderclap, lightning strike, and all the above and the in between, because we paid a whopping total in labor cost of $0.00 Jamaican, US, Canadian, all of the different currencies them. Why? We will tell you this in the next video, because we have come to the end of this video here. So thank you so very much for watching, for sticking around, and this is what is coming up next. You will see that we have finally gotten light in our dream house. So you'll get the cost breakdown of that part of the project all the way down to the single point under construction. Family, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking around, for your support. Each like, each share, each comment means the world to us. So until the next video, do take care. What good. God bless. Bye.